Good afternoon, welcome to Hilton Park, Leigh. Well, slight delayed start there, but welcome to Hilton Park, Leigh, for the extremely important game as far as Keighley are concerned. Very important to get back into winning ways after two extremely disappointing results at Carlisle and Dewsbury. Leigh, of course, on the wrong end of a 74-point thrashing last week over at Backley. Will be looking to make amends for that, as Keighley will be looking to get back onto the winning track. Certainly plenty of spectators come across here to Leigh this afternoon. Leigh playing left to right as we look. Give you the teams in a convenient break as Leigh launch an attack towards the Keighley 20. Bob Reeves there, the Keighley player over here at Leigh on loan. And Leigh getting the ball inside there to Chris Wilson, the loose forward. 25 metres out from the Keighley line. Moving across field sweetly, that ball, but the Cougar defence on the far side sound at this point as the referee, Mr. Gilmore, calls the last one. That ball hoisted high and holding in the wind. Andre Stoop goes and makes that ball his. And certainly a bit of late running there by Tauliku, the blindside prop of Leigh, the Kiwi, or maybe Western Samoan, I don't know. Certainly from that part of the world anyway. On the 20-metre line, Keighley now in the hands of Jason Ramshaw. Shane Tupai returned after quite a long spell out with injury. And Ramshaw goes on his own from the acting half, finds Martin Wood inside him. Nice bit of work there by Jason Ramshaw, Martin Wood, but the last tackle called. Ramshaw puts boot to ball, uses this considerable wind, but the ball just about going dead. It took a kick inside. So we'll be looking for a tap restart on that 20-metre line. And it's the hooker Sean Bannister taking the tap. Leigh now working the way towards the halfway line, in the hands of Chris Wilson, the loose forward. And that man going nowhere, Martin Wood, absolutely making certain of that. Ball spinning out towards the main stand side. Bob Reeves, the man in possession there. And here comes the kick from Leigh. That's a pretty good kick under the conditions, but again, strangely going dead into the wind. An enormous kick forward, really, under the blustery conditions. Ramshaw then with a tap restart. Wayne Race, the number 5 for Keighley, just gets a few metres further. And Gareth Cochran catching a stray knee there from Rob Ball, the blindside prop. Brendan Hill still some 10 metres from the halfway line, but eventually gets taken to ground. And Appleby running across, half through the gap, goes through the hole. He's got outside him Nick Pinkney, but the pass definitely forward. Nick Pinkney overrunning Darren Appleby there. The pass, no question about it. It was almost level as we sit looking at that, some 30 metres behind the point in play. So the forward pass must have been some considerable distance forward, looking at it from a level point of view. That ball coming out the side of the scrum to Leigh. It's a good job it's dry and dusty here today and not muddy, because there'd have been a really severe colour clash with all the predominance of red on the kits should the kits have got muddy, but that will not be the case this afternoon, I suspect. Leigh moving the ball up the stand side. Tyler Koo driven back there by Brendan Hill and Darren Fleary. And again the kick coming. Andre Stoop on the end of it, just looks where the opposition is, but manages still to get the ball out to Andy Ayres. Tremendous release there from Andre Stoop to Ayres, and Ayres not really sure quite where he is there. Certainly took a knock in the tackle, but this is Gareth Cochran on the opposite side of the field now for Keighley. Jason Ramshaw up towards the halfway line, and it's Martin Wood skipping round the markers at acting half, and through the hole is Martin Wood, rounds the full back, goes towards the try line, but the scrambling defence from Leigh getting back there to do the cover tackling, but Darren Appleby to Gareth Cochran. Keighley have the numbers. David Creaser back inside there to looks like it might be Shane Tupai or Darren Fleary, perhaps, can't see from here. Shane Tupai it was. That's Brendan Hill, 5 metres from the Leigh line, but brought down on the last tackle. Super break through the centre there though by Martin Wood. And Keighley looking to contain Leigh down in their own 20-metre area. Leigh now moving the ball up the centre of the field, looking for the offload. There was that man, and Ian Gately appealing to the referee that he was in a marking position, but in order to be that, you've got to be standing in front of him. Ian was at the side, and Appleby off the mark really quickly there, putting off the Leigh kicker to great effect. Looked like it was scrum half Sean Maloney who was doing the kicking, and I just wonder whether Andy Ayres is feeling the effects of the, dare I say it, the hard ground from that tackle, because the ground is hard today. Maybe the exponents of summer rugby may change their minds when they see that, because that's one of the dangers of summer rugby, is the hard grounds and the impact injuries. Might be nice for the spectators, but it certainly ain't nice for the players when they go down. Mr. Gilmore penalising Leigh there. Standoff Chris Wilkinson guilty of not releasing correctly in the tackle, or quickly in the tackle. So that puts Keighley in an attacking position, some 18 metres out, onto Appleby from Ramshaw. Gives the ball to Brendan Hill, coming in, takes the ball towards those Leigh posts now. Ramshaw switches to Appleby, onto Gately. The big fella finds Creaser, but that's good tackling there by Leigh, but the marking position, the marking there, I didn't think there was a marker present. Mr. Gilmore, in fact, has penalised David Creaser, who's also injured himself in the process. I didn't think there was a marker present at that situation, but Mr. Gilmore had given the penalty, but it looks as though that's another shoulder injury for David Creaser. Although, now looking at the position he's taking, it may well be the thigh. There's certainly some considerable pain on David Creaser's, according to David Creaser's actions there, and the stretcher being called for. Well, that's the last thing that Keighley really wanted, was an injury of that nature. He certainly had sufficient of those this season to last a season. And that's the type of nonsense that we expect from football hooligans, singing that sort of thing. No place for those sort of people in this game, that's for sure. Neil Kenyon then, not Joe Burry, as the PA system said, coming on to take the place of David Creaser. And also the Leigh player also being piggybacked off. So Sean Fanning comes on to replace Paul McLaughlin. That second phase penalty taking place then on the 20-metre line. As Leigh now come forward. 30 metres out, the head of Ian Gately flying back there as he was caught by the Leigh man. Jed Stasiker, the number 12 for Leigh, driven back into his own 30. And the ball spun out onto loose forward Wilson. The kick down, Andre Stoop underneath, collects, takes the ball to the halfway line. It's almost round the substitute Sean Fanning. Neil Kenyon this time, tackled by Reeves. Ramshaw acting half on two. Gately runs round with Ramshaw, misses out. Missed out Shane Tupai. Darren Fleary put the second ball down. The first one being in his own half early doors, and that one, well, you can't blame the wet ball today, that's for sure. Plenty of excuses for that last week, none today at all. Leigh then, coming back towards the halfway line. Almost 15 minutes of this game gone and still no score. Leigh on their own from the acting half back position. Nice ball out there to the scrum half. Feeds the ball inside. And this could be a try on. Good cover tackling there by Cochrane, but good work by Maloney and Jed Stasiker. Long ball out to the wing on. A possibility of a score there as the long ball went sailing out to the wing, but the Keighley defence exposed to the maximum there in the centre of the field with that break. I think it was initially from the hands of Sean Bannister, the hooker, who set it all up. Keighley with the scrum, ball from the base of that scrum. Wayne Race being assisted forward by those tacklers. And Martin Wood skipping away on his own from the acting half-back, but not able to get away from the second marker. Mr. Gilmore just being a little bit lenient with the laying on in the tackle at the moment. Nothing wrong with that one though. Andy Ayres down the middle of the park. 20 metres from the halfway line. In fact, one might even say midway between the halfway and the try line. 15 metres now. Martin Wood having to use the boot to relieve the pressure, but only finding the arms of Ian Halsall, the Leigh full-back, and he makes good yardage back towards that halfway line before being brought to ground. Fanning. Tao Liku hitting that halfway whitewash, biting the dust, as you might say. And Cochrane taking full advantage of that attempt at picking up the ball by Sean Maloney, the Leigh scrum half. Martin Wood again from acting half-back. Darren Fleary taking on the Leigh defence on the right flank. And it's Race going on his own again. Still 25 metres out on this very long ground here at Leigh. Appleby through the gap. Appleby's still going, but didn't get the ball out. Keighley on to Martin Wood. Martin Wood puts a long ball out there to Wayne Race, but there's nobody else outside him. He's got to come back inside. And the last tackle called. Back to Martin Wood. Martin Wood dithering, but caught in possession. Ball screaming really to have come out wide to this side, but nonetheless at least it keeps Leigh down there. There was no mistake made. The tackle was taken and the handover took place from that line, but this is a tremendous break by the number 10 Rob Ball. He wasn't going to go all the way, but what a relieving run that was. And Keighley just all at 6s and 7s with themselves at the moment. The attack's not coming too much, the breaks are there, but the finishing isn't. And the defence is having holes torn in it at the moment. Again offloading in the tackle. And this is Liku. Arms off Martin Wood, and he's all on his own. He's got Andre Stoop, he's just got to get the ball inside. It looked a bit forward, but it wasn't a good enough to Gilmore, and that try worth every one of the 4 points that Leigh get for it. Tremendous break there by Ty Liku. Tremendous break. The way he handed Martin Wood off, it was just as though he wasn't there. He's a big fella, is Liku, compared to Martin. But look at the ground he made as well. Tremendous score for Leigh. Well, we said they'd be coming back with all guns blazing after the debacle at Backley last week, and my words, haven't they done just so far? Well, Leigh Rugby League Club has been taken over by Horwich Football Club, and it looks like they've imported some of the idiots with it. They're certainly trying to tear the stand apart here, and there's not too many seats in it where we are as it is. So then, the conversion attempt to that Wilkinson try, coming from the far side of the field, about a dozen metres in from the touchline side. Certainly giving it plenty of air, and the accuracy is not bad either. 6 points to 0, Leigh lead. Wilkinson in fact converting his own try. excellent restart there. Bob Reeves failing to take the ball. Knocking on in the process. But it was certainly a good kick-off, was that one by Keighley. A good restart, I should say. Scrum forming some 10 metres from the Leigh line. Appleby to feed. Out the back. The referee not satisfied. Penalising the Leigh players for being in an offside position inside that 5 metre mark behind the back of the scrum. That's behind the place where the loose forward should be, not where the tunnel forms. Ian Gately driving the ball in. 10 metres from the line, 10 metres from the post, as Brendan Hill now takes it to the post. Received one at the side of the head. Ramshaw switches to Appleby. Appleby gets the ball out there to Stoop. Stoop to Kenyon. Kenyon in at the corner. Good quick hands by Keighley there. Two good drives towards the post by Gately and Hill. Appleby was on the end of the switch from Ramshaw through the hands of Stoop. Kenyon in at the corner. So Martin Wood with the job of the conversion, in the absence of... Oh, and that looks good. Whoa! What a conversion! Well, David Creasler, the goal kicker's injured. Simon Irvin's not playing through injury. Martin Wood with a magnificent conversion to level the scores. So then, back to square one as Darren Fleary drives out, as he did from the original kick-off. Wayne Race attempting to make his way through the gaps, but the gap closed and the Leigh player goes down injured. Oh, and there's one round the head. Touch judge very, very late going on. But referee's playing advantage. Andy Ayres going for the line. Andy Ayres is going to score. Andy Ayres is going to score. Ian Gately was calling to the touch judge to allow play to continue, which he did. But the touch judge is going to call. He's insisting on standing his ground. I think he's only going to report the player. But we'll have to wait and see. Surely Mr. Gilmore won't call things all the way back for that. It was a tackle round the head, but I'm fairly convinced that Mr. Gilmore will allow things to continue. But the touch judge did exactly right. He stood his ground, he's reported the incident. The referee allows the score. In fact, referee Gilmore just looks as though he's limping at the moment, which will be interesting. Not from his point of view, of course, but if he does, as to who will take the middle. Should be the senior touch judge if anybody takes over, which with the man with the red flag, but a little bit of consternation between the two sets of spectators in front of us, saying that try shouldn't have been allowed, but you can guess who they belong to. Martin Wood then with his second conversion attempt. Successful. So then 12 points to 6, and certainly the Leigh supporters extremely upset with themselves. Don't understand the fact that the referee can play the advantage as long as he wants and as often as he wants. That's what Mr. Gilmore did just then. Ramshaw on to Appleby, finds Martin Wood again. Martin Wood on to Pinckney. Pinckney offloads to Ayres, out to Kenyon. Kenyon away up the wing. Andy Ayres is inside him. Oh, Stoops with him, Andre Stoops, but Stoops tackled by number 14, Fanning. 20 metres out, but Keighley keeping this ball alive. Martin Wood inside to Appleby. Misses out Gately, but finds Ramshaw. Cochrane on the far side there too. Well, it's Nick Pinckney. Pinckney putting the ball down with a promising setup, but a tremendous breakaway again there down this wing. Neil Kenyon it was who created the opening for a very, very poor tackling by the Leigh defence, it has to be said. Tupai lost a boot in the middle of the field. Doesn't prevent him doing the tackling there though. And the ball out the far side. Leigh met 10 metres. And Tyler Liku offloading in the tackle, standing and getting rid of that ball. And half break there, in fact a full break by the full back, Sean Maloney. Oh, perhaps a kick would have been the best option for him there. Kick over the top and chase, but it's the last one coming up. They've got the numbers at the far side. There's the kick. Oh, and the ball having to be put dead. It wasn't going to run. Wayne Race falling over his own feet almost there to get to that ball. Drop out coming then from underneath the post. The referee waiting for Tupai to get back behind the line in an onside position before the dropout is allowed. It goes there and bounces into the arms of Sean Fanning on the halfway line, but a good chase there by Keighley. Gareth Cochrane first there, well supported by Ian Gately. Ball inside now, fullback Ian Halsall in the line. 30 metres out. And Maloney getting the ball over the far side. And offloading in the tackle. And again, Liku. And a not. Well, yes, a try, definite. Good try there, and certainly Liku causing problems in the Keighley defence. Excellent try there for Leigh. Difficult to see, the ball certainly flew out, but I think the arm of, the extension went down to the floor before the ball bounced. Certainly Leigh giving Keighley a lot of things to think about. I think perhaps they thought when they got that other try, they may have been just running through their minds that Leigh were going to fold over and roll over, but we wait and see how things progress, because don't forget also they were beating Backley 22-24 at half-time last week. So Chris Wilkinson looking to convert that try. Certainly an easier position from his last successful attempt. And that one too successful. So 12 points apiece. 25 minutes gone. Martin Wood then with the restart. Again, a long deep kick to the corner as Leigh come back towards the 20-metre line. Fanning running across the field, evading the tacklers as he goes. But brought down on the far wing there by Pinkney and Race. And again, Tauliku running at the Keighley defence, but falling to ground that time. Cochrane finishing off that player with the tackle. And here comes Wilson, but the last tackle called by Mr. Gilmore. The kick from full-back Halsall. Well, eventually. In fact, it wasn't. It's Chris Wilkinson, the standoff, but straight down the throat of Wayne Race. Wayne Race deciding to take on 4 of the Leigh pack. And it's Appleby now, out to Stoop. Stoop gets the ball to Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres back in field to Ramshaw, to Martin Wood. Ian Keighley going forward. They needed a straight runner there for sure, but at least they've got the ball middle of the park now. They've got the options left and right as Cochrane into the Leigh half. Well met by those 2 defenders. Appleby to Martin Wood, runs round onto Darren Fleary. Fleary back to Martin Wood, but Wood gets the ball out. Appleby does a remarkable job of catching that one. Stoop away from the tacklers, gets the ball, does he? Infield, yes, it's still there, but the referee says that the ball went forward. And Joe Burry coming on now to replace Brendan Hill. Or has he already come on? He's already on. Certainly sneaked on unseen. Fanning tackled on the 20-metre line as Leigh now moved the ball across on through the hands or into the hands of Wilson, the loose forward. Hooker Bannister going on his own there, but only 7 or 8 metres inside the Keighley half as the last tackle's called. Darren Appleby off like a train there, realised he was offside. I wonder if Mr. Gilmore would have pulled him had he kept going. I think the fact that he actually stopped and came back indicated the guilt, but a slight delay in the play of the ball also caused that problem, and Keighley, not having gone back to those flags, need to be back on their own try line now, and they're still not back there, but the referee allowing play to continue as Stazika gets the ball away. The referee calls Gareth Cochrane back for the knock-on. Went for the interception, failed to take the interception, and so the scrum will form just inside the Keighley 20, but it's a Leigh head and feed. Maloney to do the feeding. Loose forward breaks on the base with Maloney on his shoulder, but not sure the loose forward needed it, and touch judge's flag at the far side, so still up there. And Stazika going for the corner. Tackle 5 metres from that Keighley line. Leigh coming forward all the time. The Keighley defence holding resolute on that occasion, and surely the referee should call held at some stage in this in that sequence. Liku deciding to take them on, but to no successful avail that time. Maloney runs round with Wilkinson. Wilkinson though back inside to Wilson. The last one called, and the ball coming inside for the drop goal attempt from Wilkinson, which is successful. So Leigh take the lead again, 13 points to 12, and 35 minutes of the half gone. Martin Wood restarts then. Bob Reeves again making an attempt to take it, and really there was no need. Middle of the field then on the Leigh 20-metre line. Well, that was well, debatable. The arm came forward, that's for sure. The referee waved play on. The touchers at the far side said it was a knock-on, and that's certainly the way I saw it as well. The player was coming forward. The arm and hand contact was made with the ball as he was coming forward, so the ball must have momentarily moved forward. And Darren Appleby with the feed. Gareth Cochran though breaking from the base, and Martin Wood acting half back. Joe Burry taking play in, gets the ball out to Race, but Race well wrapped up. The Leigh defence aware of what was happening as Wayne Race gets up and plays the ball. It's Keighley from Ramshaw, almost on that Leigh try line. Keighley onto Ramshaw. Ramshaw around the gap. The gap wasn't very big, but it was big enough for Jason Ramshaw to find the way through. Good thinking there. Good thinking by Keighley. And certainly at the stage of the game where they needed it, because had they not got that, it's very, very close on the half-time break now, and they could well have been going into the break trailing, but with a bit of luck, that will keep them in front at the half-time. £16 points to 13 at the moment. That makes a scoreline with the Martin Wood conversion to come. Another Leigh player leaves the park as Martin Wood prepares for this conversion. The ball sitting on a mound of sand over there. Almost a Botica style run up, and my words, Botica accuracy as well. Oh, has Keighley found a new goal kicker, we wonder? Martin, of course, will say, yes, I kick them in my sleep every night. In fact, the player, Glyn Davis it is, just reporting to the referee with the physio that he needs to go to the blood bin, which he has done. And the other substitute, Hammond Tuevo, replaces him. Darren Fleary allows the ball to bounce before gathering and drives back almost to that 20-metre line. And Wayne Race tackled as he clears the 20. Joe Burry, positive straight run straight at the Leigh defence. Keighley through the centre of the field, taking the defence with him as he goes. And Ramshaw on to Martin Wood. He finds Cochran out to Stoop. Stoop tackle as he threatened to release the ball, as he so often does, but threatened that is, but doesn't release, and Leigh regather. Certainly the Leigh defender didn't take the dummy, he tackled the man, ball and all. Wilkinson puts his colleague there in an absolute no-go position. Is the other part of the half-back pairing, Sean Maloney. And Wilkinson puts the ball high in the air. It's almost, well, it did go out of sight. Good chase there, but an equally superb take by by Darren Appleby. And Neil Kenyon looking to get round the outside, can't, so he releases the ball, and it's Andy Ayres' opportunity to do so. On to Martin Wood. Martin's got Ian Keighley outside him, but Keighley certainly not got the sprinting power from off the mark that a back would have had there. And it's Ramshaw still going, but gives the ball out, and a penalty being given because the player had not made the 10. In fact, it wasn't. It penalised the Leigh player there for shouting for the ball. Considered, I think, to be one of the referee's flexible rules where it's ungentlemanly conduct. And certainly that ball came out very quickly, and Keighley now get the play back underway. 2 balls on the field, but referee not bothered as Darren Fleary goes through the hole. Well into stoppage time now, I would suggest, as Keighley launched the attack. Keighley going down the touchline side, gave the ball to Kenyon, but Neil Kenyon, with about half a metre in which to work, couldn't take the ball cleanly. 18 points to 13, the scoreline reading as we approach the half-time hooter. Keighley's tries coming from Neil Kenyon, Andy Ayres and Jason Ramshaw, and 3, I have to say, magnificent goals from Martin Wood. Wilkinson kicked 2 goals, a drop goal, and scored a try for Leigh in the first half, as did Tauliku, to give them their complement of 13 points. And it's Keighley this time, caught inside that advantage line. The referee allowing play to continue until such time as Leigh had chance to break it. So it's Leigh's, I would suggest, last chance before the half-time break to get on the board, and at least towards the Keighley total, if not to surpass it. 18-13 as Leigh come forward now. Wilkinson out to fullback, the fullback Halsall though half evading the initial tackle, but eventually falling to that one as Bob Reeves looked to go back inside, slipped as Wilson gets the ball now in the loose forward position. A half hesitant defence there of the 2 second rowers, Fleary and Tupai, almost allowed him through, but eventually shut the gate. And it looks as though with a couple of knock-ons there, one either way. In fact, it wasn't the last tackle. It's Keighley head and feed for the first knock-on. "20 metres from the Keighley line, this scrum forming. Wayne Race steps inside and tries to duck under the tackle, but not successfully. Well, I don't know how much stoppage time we're having, but certainly seems to be rather a lot as Andy Ayres tries to get away from those tacklers. And there's certainly taking a knock there on the shoulder, but again, possibly the harder ground. It certainly looks like concrete on the wings as well, but flying back head there of Cochrane. That lad's going to get whiplash injury if he gets tackled like that much more. And a good run there by Ian Keighley, taking place into the Leigh half as the last tackle comes. Appleby hoists the high one. Oh, and the fullback spills it. Andy knows he made the mistake. Fullback Ian Halsall there committed the unforgivable really underneath your own post. I suppose you could say that the sun may well have taken an effect on that ball as it struck his eyes. Certainly that's what a number of the spectators below us are suggesting, but it's Keighley's scrum and feed here. Cochrane onto Appleby. Appleby though just that little bit slow away there. There goes the half-time hooter. Well, I thought that the play should continue till the ball went dead. Mr. Gilmore blew the whistle as soon as the hooter went, though. And it's a half-time scoreline of Leigh 13, Keighley 18. And it's been a very patchy display, I have to say, by Keighley. But some tremendous work by Martin Wood in his newfound goal-kicking ability. Half-time then, Leigh 13, Keighley 18. Half-time break over then as the Keighley side retake the field. And just whilst we're waiting for the two teams to come out, failed to be able to give them at the beginning for technical reasons. The teams lined up initially as Andre Stoop at fullback for Keighley, Andy Ayres, Nick Pinkley, David Creasy and Wayne Race. David Creasy, of course, injured and replaced by Neil Kenyon. Martin Wood and Darren Appleby at half-back, Brendan Hill, Jason Ramshaw, Ian Gately, Darren Fleary, Shane Tupai and Gareth Cochran. The two substitutes, 14 was Neil Kenyon and 15 Joe Burry. In fact, it was the other way around. However, for Leigh, the fullback was Ian Halsall, David Hill, Bob Reeves on loan from Keighley, Glyn Davis and Paul McLaughlin making up the three quarters. Chris Wilkinson and Sean Maloney, the half-back pair in. Certainly Wilkinson caused a little bit of problems to Keighley early doors. And the guy who certainly caused problems, Tao Liku, the number 8, Sean Bannister 9, Rob Ball, Jed Staziger, Paul Marsh and Chris Wilkinson at loose forward. Sean Fanning and Hammond Tuevo, the two substitutes as we get underway for this second half. Keighley, you recall, leading in the end of that first period by 18 points to 13. And Leigh working their way towards that 20-metre line. And here comes Liku, well, on the dummy run at least that was. Leigh made the 30 line, and certainly remarked earlier in the first half that this ground is tremendously long compared to most, and certainly in particular to Keighley. It must be a good 10 or 12 metres longer overall than the ground at Keighley, which is a tremendous number of yards at the end of a game that players cover. Whoa, that were definitely forward. Absolutely level with us, but it was the last tackle. I think no question you'll be able to see that on the picture that the ball went forward. There's Ramshaw now, on to Burry. Burry with a 14 on his back, as I said. Neil Kenyon wearing 15. And Cochran looking to step through that defence, taking a number of Leigh players to bring him down, and neither of those markers even considering standing square as Martin Wood releases Ayres. Stoop, a nice ball out to Pinkley. Pinkley gets away from the first tackler. Wayne Race goes inside wisely and evades the tackle as he dodging and weaving as he goes, Wayne Race, but tackled eventually in front of those Leigh posts, but still some 25 metres out. Well, the original pass was forward. Mr. Gilmore said it was a knock-on, but certainly the original pass forward. Difficult for referees when they're standing in those positions some 10 metres behind or in front of player, looking backwards, as you might say, to detect those forward passes. Good run there by Reeves. And the ball out to the wing. David Hill attempting to escape the clutches of the Keighley defence, but Rob Ball driving the ball in for Leigh to the halfway line, and it's Bannister onto Maloney. Maloney, though, offloads, and a good run there by Sean Bannister, the Leigh hooker, taking place some 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Inside to Maloney, the ball kicked high towards this wing side and into touch. Well measured, I should think he should call that one, but could so easily have been taken out on the full by the wind. It wasn't. And so we see a scrum forming on the Keighley 20-metre line. Darren Appleby to feed. Sean Tupai having a bit of a problem with his boot laces again. He lost his boot in the first half, with a bit of Velcro on it. And in fact, looks like we've got another blood bin substitution. The physio just bringing the player to the referee's attention. Hammond Tuevo it is, who's gone off. And we're still having boot trouble there in the Keighley ranks. Bit of strapping being brought on to tie things up. Eventually play underway again, but the referee not satisfied that the ball made it. Didn't make it any better there, but Wayne Race on the end of the pass gets to the 30-metre line before being hauled to the ground. And it's Cochrane. A lousy pass out to Martin Wood there by Gareth Cochrane. Wood doing well to take it down by the knees. Tupai fending off the first tackler, or fending off the runner as the two tacklers hung on to him. Ramshaw switches inside to Keighley. Big fella dips as he goes into the tackle, but brought down 5 metres from the halfway line. Ramshaw out to Appleby. Appleby those steps back inside onto Ramshaw. Martin Wood gets the ball back out to Cochrane. Gareth Cochrane stepping inside the crowd, baying for a forward pass as Cochrane still evades those tacklers. Gets to the 20-metre line. Good run there by Cochrane, good determination. Ayres out to Appleby, on to Martin Wood. Martin Wood puts the chip forward for Jason Ramshaw to chase. But in fact, Wayne Race, the zone who had to do the chasing, ball though being shepherded into touch by winger David Hill. So the scrum forming, or will form, on the 10-metre line. Touch judges put the flags down and Leigh win the ball. David Hill drives it towards the centre of the field. Maloney acting half-back, looks for Liku. Liku certainly takes a tremendous amount of taking down. Joe Burry took him down there, no real sweat as Bob Reeves breaks through the centre of the park now, some 15 metres from the halfway line. Bannister out to Maloney. Maloney gets the ball, a long ball out, was going to be a long ball out, taken by Davis, the centre. Maloney on to Marsh. The last one called by Mr. Gilmore in this set of 6. The ball for Wilkinson to pump downfield. Andre Stoop gets the foot to it, falls over his own feet and concedes the head and feed. So, tremendous kick there by Wilkinson, causing no end of trouble. Well, trouble really that shouldn't have been trouble for Andre Stoop. Nonetheless, it was. Wilkinson offers the ball, gives it eventually to Halsall, the fullback, but well covered there by Stoop. Marsh plays the ball out the far side there to Stazika. And it's in field once more. The two half-backs operating again for Leigh, and they've still got the ball. They've got the numbers as well. Oh, you greedy person. Oh, he's got a wingman out there who I think he must have the plague the way he avoided giving him that ball, because had he got it, Leigh would have been in. As it is, they're back towards the post, trying to create the opening. Is there an opening there? Oh no. Just close. Bob Reeves, I think, thought he was going to score. It's still got the ball here, and the numbers. Wayne Race does the tackling. Tremendous scrambling defence there by Keighley. But my words, Leigh kept that ball alive to their credit and could so easily have scored. But what a good scrambling defence by Wayne Race and presumably Nick Pinkney over that side of the field. I beg your pardon, it would... I'm not particularly sure who's playing that centre position. It might be Wayne Even, but that's Wayne Race. Still continuing. Tackle not completed. Mr. Gilmore happy to allow things to go on. 5 metres from the halfway line as Ramshaw gets it to Wood. On to Bury. Bury just shimmies a bit to the left or to his right. Gets Stoop in, but Stoop well covered there and well rolled on by Davis. Just giving that extra second for the Leigh defence to form. Davis shrugged off there by Gately. Offloads to Pinkney. Davis injured there as he tried to tackle Ian Gately. But the offload from Gately to Pinkney not able to be held. And certainly Nick Pinkney really been starved of possession anyway in this game today, but when he's got the possession he's certainly not able to control the ball as well as he would like to be able to. Davis recovers then, the scrum forms. Maloney feeds and receives. And wingman Hill on the break there, almost through, but again the cover defence of Keighley doing the job. And Stazika gets the ball out to Wilson, but excellent chase there by Andre Stoop, covering the man all the way as Bob Reeves tries to drive the ball in. I think somebody ought to tell Bob he's a centre and not a forward the way he's driving that ball in. Or at least he's wearing a centre shirt. Sean Fanning 30 metres out from the Keighley line. Reeves looking for the fullback, but in fact the fullback not getting the ball. He was one further out. And a mountain of a kick again by Wilkinson. A good chase and an excellent take by Stoop in the perfect position for that ball as Martin Wood almost outfoxed the Leigh defence there as he came round the blind side. And it's Bury. Darren Fleary through the centre of the field, but not being able to make any of his penetrating runs so far in this second half. Gately, nice offload there to Ayres, and Ayres is in the clear. Ayres going up the touchline side. He's got Pinkney inside him, has he? No, it's not. Neil Kenyon inside him. Pinkney's on this side of the field, and it's Ramshaw on to Appleby. Appleby finds Martin Wood. This is Pinkney. Gets the ball to Stoop. Stoop kicks the ball through and ahead for the chase. Wayne Race is there. Wayne Race failed to take the ball, and so did the fullback also. But it was the last tackle. It was a good kick by Stoop. It was a good chase by Race. But in the end, it's the handover to Leigh. And I think Race probably injured himself in that chase for the ball. And David Hill, the Leigh wingman, getting almost to the 10-metre line there on that run. And certainly Leigh are not for lying down. Maloney out to Wilkinson. Nice ball out to the far side to Reed, but the centre court in possession. And it's Maloney once more for Leigh. Liku 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Wilkinson threatened to kick there, but instead it's Fanning in possession. The last gun called, the tackle made, so it's the handover And it's Kenyon in possession, but tackled as he breaks out of that 30 area. Appleby onto Fleary. Fleary through the first but falls to the second. And it's Ramshaw now. Ian Keighley leading the charge to the halfway line. Still fails to get there by a couple of yards. Ramshaw on his own from the acting half position. Gets another 7 or 8 metres before going to ground. And Martin Wood switches the ball inside for Bury to take it on. Where's the support? Well, Bury's certainly still wanting to offer the ball, but the support wasn't there. Last one called, Appleby out to Pinkney. Pinkney to Ayres. Ayres gives the ball out the far side there to Cochrane. Cochrane accepts the tackle. Fanning then from the acting half position makes all of those 10 metres. Hill playing almost in a centre position rather than wing. He seems to be roaming a bit. The loose forward Wilson hits the halfway. Davis at acting half. Infield there to Maloney onto Wilkinson. Wilkinson moves the ball out over the far side of the field, but not regularly making the yardage. Hooker Bannister hoists that ball forward, and Stoop waits for it, patiently waits for it to go over the dead ball line. It does. It's a 20-metre tap, and Stoop on the end of the first pass as Bury restarts. Gets the ball away in the tackle to Kenyon. And Joe Bury coming forward in positive manner, hanging tight to the ball, gets it down and plays. Ian Keighley looking for the support. I think for the wingman coming inside he wanted there, but as it was Ramshaw who had to take the ball as Wood gets the ball on the run round with Appleby. Cochrane brings play back towards the point from which it started at the play of the ball. And Tupai loses the ball in possession. He lost that ball, but scrum will form, and really the runners are there for Keighley, but there's no support. It's a fair amount of one-man rugby being played at the moment by them, and the opportunities for the offload are there by the runner. If only the support man was there, and surely the opportunities for scoring would develop as a result. Halsall almost taking to touch there. Davis not at all happy there with that tackle, but certainly the weight of the tackle from, well, I couldn't see really, the camera in the way, but it looked like Ian Keighley forcing the ball out, forcing the error, giving Keighley the opportunity to build on it as Pinkney just trying to dig the studs in to get away. Mr. Gilmore not at all interested in that. They'll hold him down there as Cochrane tries to skip around the outside. Well, the lad's tackled, call held, surely. Fleary going on his own on the blind side. Good 15 metres there by Darren Fleary. Wayne Race inside to Ramshaw. And the penalty going to be given. Well, not penalty, the scrum down. The touch judge indicating that Fleary had just had a bit of a knock on as he played that ball. Must admit, I was watching where it was going. Wayne Race was directing operations. Don't think it was Wayne Race who knocked on. But, Maloney gets the ball from the scrum. The combination with Whittaker and onto Hill. The wingman running riot over the far side as he escaped all the clutches there of the Keighley defence. Kenyon doing the tackle on that in that instance as play switched outside for the blindside prop ball to get 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Liku offloaded in the tackle, rather foolishly, but gives Keighley possession. Andre Stoops' feet not able to get purchase on this dry surface. Darren Fleary though breaking into the opposition half of the field as the dust flies. Martin Wood offloads to Appleby. Appleby looks to get the ball out, eventually does to Andy Ayres, but again Ayres not able to get the necessary grip to get off the mark. Pinckney outside to Burry. Burry hands off the tacklers but can't release the ball. And really, referee, if you do call held, that sort of incident doesn't arise with the third man running in like a bulldozer. Cochrane in the loose. The last tackle called once more. Cochrane plays the ball. A hand of the Leigh player certainly looked to touch that as Pinckney has the ball now on the last tackle. Andre Stoop though forced into touch, but it will be a handover. Handover taking place on the point where the player was actually tackled before he went into touch. Leigh some 25 metres out from their own line. Liku receives that ball from Bannister, and really that looks like all Liku can do. He does burst the tackles, but he seems to burst them with his head, and I think he's possibly paid the price. The nut has cracked. But Leigh still coming forward in positive manner. Certainly looked like a forward pass there to Davis. The referee pulled them back. Certainly looked forward. I didn't hear the whistle go. I certainly didn't see the whistle go to the mouth either, but referee Gilmore definitely seen it. Well, in fact, the big number 8 for Leigh, it's not the head, it looks like the leg. Certainly some of the Leigh players going down like flies at times. And Liku not really making any attempt to move, he's wanting a stretcher. Brendan Hill then comes back on for the last 20 minutes or so. Shane Tupai taking a rest on the bench. And this stretcher being made full use of here at Hilton Park this afternoon. Certainly hope it's a strong one because he's a big lad, is Tyler Liku. So Hammond Tuavu comes back on to replace the number 8 for Leigh. Generous applause given to the player, recognising his part that he's taken in this game this afternoon. Certainly caused an amount of problems for Keighley, and that applause coming from, I have to say, both sets of spectators. Cochrane picking that ball from the base of the scrum, eventually tackled 10 metres further forward than the scrum was formed as Ramshaw spins the ball out to Martin Wood. Nick Pinckney, Andre Stoop offers a dummy yet again. This time Pinckney gets the ball. Running across field, the poster to your left, Nick. Oh, Wayne Race threw away from the tackles. But bundled into touch, but what a tremendous bust through those tackles. David Hill, the Leigh winger, may certainly be good on the run forward, but his defence certainly suspect. Wayne Race busting out of that tackle. Very unfortunate to be forced into touch, but I think, in fairness, he was so surprised at being released as easily as he was that it almost seemed impossible for him to get to the try line. Meantime, play back in front of the Leigh post, in Leigh possession as Maloney gets the ball out to Fanning. Still 0-0 in this second half. Well into the last period, or the last quarter. And the kick from the loose from Wilkinson. Stoop attempting to take it over his shoulder, but not able to do so. The Leigh chasers get in there to do the tackling. Stoop playing that ball, unaware that there was nobody there. Wayne Race did well, in fact, to get in there. Even so, Race only half awake to the fact that there was nobody there himself. But Kenyon now for Keighley. Offloads to Ramshaw. Ramshaw to Martin Wood. Wood, half break, feeds Ayres. Ayres is going through the middle. Really need the Ayres-Pinkney combination working together, and they're on opposite sides of the field, regrettably. Because Pinkney not getting the service that he does need. Ayres would certainly give him that with the breaks he's making. And Keighley on to Wood. Wood looks for the hole. Oh, and just short of that little bit of acceleration. Again, Keighley acting half-back. Ramshaw puts the kick through, does the chase himself, but full-back Halsall in position. As Leigh now take play over to the far side of the field. Certainly the game not being dictated by Keighley this afternoon. I suppose at the end of the day, if the result is positive, a win is a win is a win. But it's the convincing manner that needs to be emphasised a little more. Andre Stoop then, as Wilkinson once more puts the ball deep into the Keighley half of the field. Really, that's what Leigh are relying on now to take the pressure away from themselves as the kick forward, as another Leigh player goes down. Kenyon just hesitating again there as he goes through. It looks like it might be Davis that's down. And whilst the injured players taken place, Keighley take full advantage of bringing the water bottles on a very, very pleasant day, but it must be quite warm out there. Players been accustomed to be playing in sub-zero temperatures almost, and no doubt the opportunity taken to get one or two messages on as well. In fact, the injured player is Hill, the wingman. The referee happy to allow play to continue as Brendan Hill now looks for a bust down that main stand side. Appleby, long ball into Martin Wood, out to Pinkney. Pinkney stepping back towards the main stand side. Finds Kenyon before he almost vanished down the tunnel, but Kenyon's away. And still going is Neil Kenyon. Thought Nick Pinkney was going to run right across the field and down the players' tunnel before he gave that ball to Kenyon, but Keighley now. Whoa, that's a bit of a misguided pass. Wayne Race, the last man in the line, doing the picking up. And it was the last tackle as well, so Keighley lost. From that good break by Kenyon, Keighley lost the ground that he'd gained. And Davis acting half for Leigh. Good tackling there by Fleury on Marsh. Bannister on to Maloney. Maloney Going round in a circle, probably the man with the cleanest shirt on the field is the Leigh number 7, although not many dirty shirts on view today at all. 10 metres from the halfway line. Bannister going from the acting half position, being allowed to offload. Reeves spins the ball out to Wilson. Wilson out to Hill. Hill kicks the ball through, but it beats him into touch. Some weary legs coming across to the scrum as the Keighley players await the Leigh pack to arrive. Appleby gets the ball in, eventually out through Martin Wood to Nick Pinkney. Again, Pinkney going on a cross-field run. Almost as though he seems to have lost his confidence at coming forward, Nick Pinkney. The extra pace he has surely should be able to find a hole in that Leigh defence if he were to run straight. Gately bounces at the Leigh forwards, but tackled and taken to ground by Bannister and ball. Brendan Hill this time, using his strength and weight to get through those Leigh players. Onto Wood from Appleby, out there to Cochrane. Cochrane looking to offload, but always going to ground. And Martin Wood, the last tackle called by referee Gilmore. That's a good kick by Martin Wood. Just not holding up, so it'll be a tap restart on the 20-metre line. Well, still a barren half as far as points are concerned. Keighley unable to breach a very, very resolute Leigh defence. And Leigh, in fairness, having to resort to kicking out of their own half to make Keighley work their way back upfield. Nonetheless, still stringing nice passes together. Well, the oohs come from the crowd, but I think it was the fact that Brendan Hill was up top and Darren Flaherty hit him much higher down below, much harder down below. And another injury as the Leigh player goes to ground. Keighley physio just checks on. I think it's Gareth Cochrane at the far side. And drinks being offered and advice as well to Martin Wood. Messages from the bench galore, such as the modern communication methods of the radio wave. Highly illegal, of course, but everybody does it, so why not Keighley? Not the use of radio is illegal, the use of the message taken onto the field, but providing the water bottles there, I suppose that it's valid. Back in action then once more as play resumes. Bob Reeves out to Davis, but Davis tackles as he gets into the Keighley half of the field. Reeves threatened to kick, now he does. And Stoop takes it. Davis just having Bob Reeves just having a quick look there to see where Stoop was before he kicked that ball, readjusted his position to make Andre Stoop do the running. But Keighley now breaking out. Brendan Hill dips through the first, gets almost through the second. A rampaging run there by Brendan Hill. Brings the crowd to the feet. A good 30 metres there by the big Keighley number 8. Martin Wood misses out Joe Burry, finds Nick Pinkney. Nick Pinkney step, goes for the gap. Nick Pinkney's going. Nick Pinkney's still going. That's what he should have been doing all game. As soon as Pinkney runs straight, he creates the hole because the defence just can't handle him. Been wanting that all game from Nick Pinkney. He hasn't had a lot of possession, and he's done a lot of cross-field running like a sidewinder. But he attacked the ball, he attacked the defence, and he scored the try. At long last, a stalemate in this second half broken That, of course, being the first points. Nick Pinkney, the try scorer. And let's not forget the input that Brendan Hill had in the build-up of that try. The magnificent 30-yard bust by Brendan, giving the opportunity for that try to come about. But nonetheless, it still had to be scored, and Nick Pinkney was the man to do it. Martin Wood then from about as the middle of the post as you could get without measuring it. Safely through, 100% record for Martin as well this afternoon. Whittaker then gets play back underway, kicking in the direction that will cause the players the most difficulty with the son of Darren Fleury. Breaks out again. Are we going to see the Leigh defence obviously very tired? Are we going to see them broken now as the superior fitness of Keighley shows us? Kenyon on the break. Kenyon going up the wing side. Kenyon still going. He takes them on. He goes. He scores in the corner. Oh, brilliant. Well, we've gone some 30 minutes or more without a point. We've now had 10 in the space of 2 minutes. Neil Kenyon then showing the pace up that far wing that we know he has and hasn't really shown to much effect this season, but he certainly took on the defence that time, going half the length of the field to score that try. This will certainly be a test then of Martin Wood's 100% goal kicking record so far today. It's only about a metre in from the far touchline side and kicking across the face of the wind. Martin lands this, he might find himself with a permanent job. The ball falling off the Mounder stand. Martin Wood then, ball eventually settled on the Mounder sand satisfactorily, but the 100% record goes. A valiant effort nonetheless. 28 points to 13 then the scoreline, as Keighley have advanced their points tally, as I said a minute ago, by 10 points in the space of about 3 minutes. So what had been a rare occurrence for Whittaker in this half has suddenly become a habit. Restarting from the halfway line. Scrum going to form on the Keighley 10. As I remarked a moment or two ago, the The Leigh pack rather slow to get there. Wayne Race still going, evading those tacklers, and it's Ramshaw from the acting half, scurrying away, almost busting that tackle, but not quite. 35 out, aided back to the ground, looking for a penalty, not receiving it. And Brendan Hill, that's two, offloads to Fleury. Fleury's got Pinckney with him, goes inside though. Pinckney's still there, should have given the ball to Fleury to Pinckney first. Bit of greed there by Darren Fleury. Ball gone back though, says Mr. Gilmore, as Appleby now. Appleby skips through the hole, but tackled as he goes. And Ramshaw on to Martin Wood. Martin Wood still keeping the ball alive as Keighley in the action, switches back to Pinckney. Pinckney tries a left boot drop goal of all things. But really, after that good break again by Brendan Hill and so well taken on by Darren Fleury, Fleury certainly should have parted with the ball to Pinckney whilst he was on his outside. He had the chance. I think Pinckney had sufficient space to have got away from the what little cover defence there was. But another possibility of 4, maybe 6 points wasted, the chance wasted. Bannister onto Hall, by Marsh rather. And Bannister once again, typical hooker fashion, going away from the acting half on his own. And doing it once more, just so to prove us right. But a lovely offload there. Finds the scrum half Maloney, being chased by Stoop. And a perfect pass there to Neil Kenyon, coming back in defence from Maloney. Public address man just getting a bit excited about something that's not happening as Brendan Hill offloads to Martin Wood. Wood's got Pinckney with him this time. He's still got Pinckney with him. Inside Nick Pinckney, lovely pass from Martin Wood. That's how to do it. Nice try, Nick Pinckney. Well, those people behind the post at that end have stood there for the best part of 30 minutes with little to cheer for, and suddenly they've had 3 tries in very, very short space of time to lift the spirits and bring them back to life. Only 32 points to 13. Can Martin Wood make it 34? Cool as a cucumber, there it goes, 34 points to 13. Well, that's just about put paid to anybody's bets on the Rugby League pools, who backed Leigh to beat Keighley with a 20-point start. They now trail by 1 according to that. Appleby looks for Martin Wood as he goes through the gap and finds him. Wood on the break again. My words, who's the man in support? It was Brendan Hill, would you believe? Where's the rest? Ian Gately now, as Kenyon takes on the defence on the far side, but the ball spilled and recovered by Leigh on their own 20-metre line. Breakaway there by Fanning. This is Tuevo. And Rob Ball, the number 10 for Leigh, just getting into the Keighley half. Bob Reeves. And an almost stationary Davis there. A very, very tired looking Davis. Still feeling the effects of the injury as Reeves hoists another high one. And Stoke takes the ball. But a good chase there by Bob Reeves, tackling fullback Andre Stoop before he can get many yards away, but it's Wayne Race's turn to try to find that hole. Ramshaw endeavouring to escape the clutches of the Leigh defenders, but no chance on that occasion. Martin Wood on to Appleby, finds Gately. Gately dips again, finds Ramshaw, he feeds it back to Wood, who gets it on to Appleby. Fleary up the centre of the field, gets away once more. These are the runs we were looking from for Fleary before, but the referee says the pass was forward. I think I tend to disagree with that one, because Nick Pinkney actually pulled the ball from behind him there. It might have been flat, but it wasn't forward, and a flat pass isn't a forward pass in most referees' books. Shall we say that was the advice we were given by a certain referee from Huddersfield, who seems to have one or two problems recently with tries that may or may not have been. I'll leave you to work that one out. Perhaps his advice on the forward pass may not be as sound as we perhaps thought. But there we go, that's the end of it all. 34 points to 13. I have to say, the last number of points coming, giving Keighley a flattering scoreline. Nonetheless, the points were scored when the opportunities were created as the Leigh defenders tired. But I'm not too sure that Keighley will be all that happy with the victory, the way in which the victory was carved out. It was a very, very good defensive stint by Leigh. Take nothing for it for the contribution they made to the game. In the end, it was the fitness that took toll of the Leigh players. All the tackling they'd had to do took its toll, and Nick Pinkney weighed in at the end with a couple of tries, as did Neil Kenyon. He added his second of the game. The other contributors, Andy Ayres and Jason Ramshaw, with the number of tries there the 6 goals from Martin Wood in his newfound position as goalkeeper, as well as loose forward, as well as standoff, as well as Mr. Utility Man. Final score then here at Hilton Park: Leigh 13, Keighley 34.